Almost all of you will probably be adding images to your blog or website, but you may not know the different types of image files and when to use each different type of file. So we're going to go over some of the main image file types. We're going to go over PNG, JPEG, and GIF and kind of talk about when to use each. This is a PNG file, so it might be called something like lebron.png. It'll end with that .png. And PNG files are usually very, very large because they're very high quality. So high quality, large files, and they can have transparency. So this picture, for instance, behind LeBron, so we have, his actual figure, but back here you see this checkered white and gray, and that's just a symbol for transparency. So it's going to be transparent back there. So this is great for something like a logo. So if we click on this PNG file, if you can see back here, there's that checkered symbol of transparency. So for this logo, it's only going to be the shape of his head. Everything behind it is just transparent. So if this were on a black background, for instance, everything behind the shape of his head would be black. It's going to conform to whatever is in the background. So yeah, that works great for a logo. And yeah, that's what I mostly use PNGs for, is the logo, because it's very sharp and it's going to have that transparent background, which is important for logos. I usually don't use them for just regular pictures because the files are so big, and we don't want big files. We want the files to be as small as possible so that it can load faster. So if I had this picture, for instance, I would usually use JPEG and not PNG because this file is probably going to be a lot bigger, and again, we don't want that. So the next type of file is JPEG, and so this is that same icon that we had of the face, but as you can see, there's not that checkered background. That's because JPEGs can't have transparency. So they're not very good for something like a logo because they can't have, transparency. So if I put this anywhere on my site, it's going to have this white background behind his head, no matter if it's on top of a black background, brown background, so it's going to look kind of funky. But they're good for just regular images like this. And the reason why is because they usually are very compressed, so they have a small file size. And again, for web, this is important because that means the image is going to load a lot faster. We don't want the website taking a long time to load. So when you can, use a JPEG. And I usually do use a JPEG for if it's just a regular picture like this. Because JPEGs are smaller than PNG, they're usually a little bit lower quality too, even though you can have high quality JPEGs. But try a JPEG first, but if it is looking too grainy or it's not looking good, then try PNG, because PNGs are usually higher quality. But again, JPEG usually is high enough quality that you won't even notice a difference, so use this because it's going to be much smaller. But if you can notice a difference and you need the difference, then try PNG. And then lastly, so after PNG and JPEG, we have GIF or GIF, however you want to pronounce it. So this file might be called something like lebron.gif, and they can be used for static images similar to a JPEG, but a lot of times they're used for this motion type picture. And the way it works is pretty much just a bunch of pictures that it's showing you one after another. So if someone was running across the lawn and you took 100 pictures while they were running across, and then you looked at all of them one after another, it would look like it's a moving picture, like a movie or something. So that's kind of what GIF is used for, and this is pretty much the only reason I do use it, even though you could use it again for static images. I usually just use GIF for something where if I want to show motion like this, and GIF is usually going to be much lower quality, less colors and stuff. And I mean, for something like this with motion, it has to be, because it's going to be a huge file size because they're using a ton of different pictures one after another, so they have to lower the quality so that the file isn't too big. In summary, PNG I usually use for logos, transparent, very sharp, high quality, but big file size. JPEG for just regular pictures, low file size, usually good enough quality, but if it's not good enough, then PNG because JPEG is a little bit lower quality. And GIF I usually use for something with motion like this here.